Welcome to Real Talk TV. My name is Darryl Buchannan. Just want to thank everybody for supporting me, supporting the show. I ask you to continue to support the show. And can you please do me a favor? When you do watch the show, can you please like it, share it, and please subscribe to this channel. I'd like to give a shout out to my friends out in Leaving Street Ministry out in Haverhill, Jesus and Wanda. Love you guys, man. Thank you for supporting me. And I just love all the work that you guys are doing out there. Also like to give a shout out to Yacht Time Entertainment, my friend out there, Joseph Toot Bennett. Appreciate everything that you do. The men's group, I love it. I'll be there next week to check it out. Also like to give a shout out to the Recovery Connection. Spectrum hosts it, and Superior Recovery Center out here in Marlboro, 31 Main Street. You guys can come down, welcoming the community to come down and visit us to see what's going on in the center. And also, if you have anybody or know anybody that is struggling, that needs help, give us a call, bring them down to us, and we'll assist them in any way that we can. Today I have another good show. This brother here, known him for a long time. He's probably 30 years, and he's a brother that I think wouldn't say poster child, but is a person that celebrates recovery, and that's important to me. I mean, a lot of people think that when we get into recovery and you let these things down and you can't have fun and you can't live your life, and I think for him, what I see is a lot of gratitude, and I'm not going to tell his story, but I just would like to introduce my guest, Lovelee Harvey. Like I said, he's a brother that has some information, and what I like, he always says to do it and do it in a fly way. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce my guest, Lovelee Harvey.
First of all, first and foremost, thank you, God, for allowing me to be here.
Yes, sir.
And really, that's like maybe second, opposed to first and foremost, because I make it my business. I'm not the guru or the religious, Bible thumper and all of that stuff, but I make sure my gratitude shows up first thing in the morning when I open up my eyes. Mm-hmm. So this ain't my first time thanking my God. But continuously, I feel it necessary to continue to stay on this path, man, And big thanks to you, man. Your shout-out list is, but big thanks to you, man, just for seeing in me today what once upon a time I didn't see in myself,
No doubt.
And I know I might forget because I'm old now, so I use that as my excuse, right? But Toot, that's my guy.
No doubt, most
That's
definitely.
my guy. And actually, our last conversation, right, before I got myself together, was with him.
Oh, no doubt.
You know what I mean?
Brother. It's a good brother.
Y'all Time Entertainment, ooh. You know what I mean? And, like, the awareness today, right? The self-awareness of where I'm at, and I'm going to get into that.
Yeah.
But just like my man Chris that we were speaking about a little while ago, Chris Conway, were out for good behavior. Yeah. You know what I mean? Carlton Buford over there in his projects doing
That's my man,
group. You know what I'm saying? Like mathematics, doing the MBM, motivated by math. Yeah. Like these dudes, right, are the pillars of the community today.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
And like that's not the way we started out.
No, it's not.
You know
We're
what
going to get into that. Let's break it down. I want to give a shout out to mathematics, Carlton Buford, man. Love you guys, man. Love what you're doing. There's a spot for you, man. We can follow the lead after you come.
Yeah,
give me a call and we can make it happen.
Yeah.
All right, just briefly, can you just tell my audience a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so again, my name's Lovelee Harvey. I was born Lee, but I go by Lovelee because to be lovely is to have a beautiful moral and or spiritual character.
Okay.
It's an attributed title. And I do believe how you define yourself, because it tells us, we define ourselves, the principles of Kwanzaa, right? That's how I define myself. Also, from my mother, you know what I mean? But there's a difference in not wanting to go by what other people define you as, because then we have the tendency to try to act out on that. Like when they call me crazy, I want to act crazy.
Yeah.
When they call me stupid, I'm stupid. You know what I mean? So that's how I define myself, because that's what I am, and that's what my God created me to be. Right? Drugs, because, that's not the only reason I'm here today, but it's a big part of how my life was formulated due to my bad decision making. But I need to say, it wasn't always bad, right? It wasn't always bad.
No, it wasn't. I get it.
It wasn't always bad, man. And that's like the part that people forget, right? And like I'll talk about it not always being bad, because for me, drugs was my gateway to cool.
Yeah.
As a youngin', right?
Yeah.
Nobody was winning but the drug dealers.
Here it is, most definitely. Hey, brother, what type of environment did you grow up in? I know for a fact, like for me, I believe that it plays a major role in the way that we, in the way that we think and our belief system and all that. For your environment, can you just explain to the audience just your environment? What type of environment was it?
So growing up in the city of Boston, Mission Hill's definitely home base, Mission Hill, USA. But I was never a gangbanger or, stuck in my little circumference of that area. So from the top to the bottom of Boston, from Mattapan to the South End and beyond, I was always good with everybody and accepted. So pretty much the city of Boston, that's my stomping grounds. That was my playground. But like I said, it was always the hustlers and the drug dealers and the cool and slick. There was always that light that just, attracted to me, what I gravitated towards. You know what I mean? So having an education, having a mom that instilled education, coming from a family that was about doing good and, the morals and values and the principles that you get in your home is not the same when you walk out that door to the outside world. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like I was talking earlier about the fun, right? It was cool until it wasn't. It was cool until it wasn't. Yeah. Because nobody passed on the complete package of the information.
Yeah.
You know how when you get a contract at your job or you sign on for this, right? You get the complete package with the fine print.
Yeah.
All I saw, the miseducation, the misinformation, the misleading, right, of all of these quote unquote good things that you can do and have because of drugs, right? Nobody told the rest of the story.
That's true.
Right? It was just slick to nod, slick to take a niff, you know what I mean? Slick to be with some women when you did that because the sex life was different. It was slick to get that money. You know what I'm saying? So I never had that information that came along that completed the package.
And I think when you say for us, it was normal. It's abnormal not to do that and not to think like that. For me, like you just said, we got off the porch with only half the math, right? We didn't know, like the jewelry would one day turn into stainless steel handcuffs. The car would turn into a police vehicle, right, and them things.
Listen, the progression of the disease takes you where you had no idea you was going to end up, right? And by then it's too late.
It's too late, you caught up.
Because nobody said, young blood, if you do this, this, and this, and this is going to happen. It was like young blood, Yeah. And a lot of times, even when, some of the old heads, right, that had been through some things and found their way out of those type of situations, they weren't cool no more to me.
Yeah. Just like we hate cool to a lot of people.
There was busters, there was scrams. Little did I know, right, that they had put it together the right way. Yeah. But that's not what I was trying to see. You see what I'm saying? So I blocked out a lot of the positive information that might have been coming my way further down the line. Yeah. Because the blinders was on now. Yeah. The nice car, the jewelry, the clothes, you know what I mean? The women, the street credibility, you know. But check this out. The wanting to fit in.
That's what it really is. That's the really...
The wanting to be a part of.
For me, it was fear. I think a lot of my life was fear.
The wanting to be accepted.
Yeah, be accepted, yeah.
You know what I mean? The wanting to be looked at as somebody that was all right. Yeah. Which I did. That's why I ended up. They tell you from the top of the bottom of the city, oh, that boy cool.
He's good, yeah.
Right? But this man didn't know he was going to end up a mess, bro.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, the prison bids, you know what I mean? The active addiction at its worst
We want to get into that. Before we get to that, let me get this. Go ahead.
Okay.
When was the first? When did you? What was your first use? Or like I say, a better question: when was the time that you used when you knew when you couldn't stop and you knew you was an addict? Because we diagnose ourselves, right? Just self-diagnose. When did you really know that you was an addict? I remember all the time. Remember how we would sit in the penitentiary and people would come up, talk, and we would character assassin, call them bums. And when did it get like that? And when did you understand?
It wasn't. Now I had already had, because I used different substances as a preteen all the way beginning in my teenage
So you don't
years.
think it started there?
No, it did start.
It started there, but your knowledge.
I didn't know it started there.
That's the question I asked you. Yeah, you're right.
See, I didn't know it started there.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was on my way to all this madness then, because it was socially acceptable within the certain ciphers, and for what you was doing in the street, that went with it to a certain degree, right? And I still went to school. I still got A's and B's, right?
In the beginning.
In the beginning, right? I still got money. You know what I'm saying? I was all right. So it wasn't until I had to go to my first detox, right? And I heard the message of recovery, because I still had no idea that I was an addict and had the disease.
The disease,
right?
yeah.
The dis-ease,
Yeah.
right? Could no longer function as a human being. I couldn't stop being a mess under my own will. Like everything went the other direction. I went from being, the man to, a complete mess, and couldn't stop.
It's crazy, bro.
You know what I mean? And when I went to my first detox as a teenager, and I heard the message of recovery and the message of hope and the promise of freedom, and if you want more of this, these are the steps that make recovery possible, and that any addict can stop using the drugs. It says put down the drugs. See, we leave that part out when we quote the text a lot, but it says put down the drugs. Stop using to find a new way to live.
Yeah.
Right? I heard what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
So I kept...
Enough to keep using, right?
Absolutely.
That's what we do.
I kept putting down the drugs, but I never surrendered to finding a new way to live.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, something not right with this picture.
Wow, yeah.
How do I still be ending up in another detox, or in another crack house, or OD somewhere, or back in jail? I said I wasn't coming back to jail.
Yeah.
I told my kids I wasn't going to do this to them no more. I told my kids' mothers I'm going to do better this time. Continuously, I lied to my God, to my mother, to my grandmother,
To
my
yourself.
aunts, to myself,
Yeah, man.
because I kept saying what I wasn't going to do. But the disease had a different plan for what I was going to do.
Yeah.
The difference with the powerlessness is a lot of people don't understand. Once you take that first one, it might not be immediately. Like I said, it was all right, so I thought in the beginning. But the progression, I no longer had a choice.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question again. This is a question, like I said, I always try to give information about, kind of like erase the stigma. People are always saying, you just talked about willpower. Why don't they use willpower? Why don't they just put this down? They don't understand it, and people are always saying that, we're doing this by choice, and I think that's why there's a lot of people that don't buy into this disease concept, this disease thing. What do you think? Is this a disease or a choice? And if so, why?
I think I believe and know for a fact that it's a disease, right? But I also believe that everybody is entitled to their choice. So some people are not going to buy in, right? Because they don't understand the dynamics of what it does, the chemical dependency, right? The mental obsession, right? And some people are going to be like, well, I never experienced that, so to me, you just don't do it. But it's different when it becomes a dependency. It's different when your mind is obsessed and the compulsion to continue to use, and you no longer have that freedom of that choice to make those decisions.
Kind of like using against your will at that point.
You're using against your will. You know what I mean? Now, do I believe that it's a choice when you get the information and you stop and you end up back?
And if you repeat it, do you think it's a choice at that point?
Absolutely a choice.
Okay. Why is that?
Because once you can't go back to not knowing once you know, right? And I'm not saying that relapse isn't, it's not a requirement. It happens, right? But once you get the information and apply the information, there's no excuse to use unless you want to use. You know what I mean? There's no excuse. Like, you're a victim when you get here, but when you get the information and you choose to subject yourself to that again,
then you made that choice. So at that point, you don't think it's disease
No, it's still the disease, because the disease stays in your head.
Okay.
But we succumb to those thoughts, to those feelings, to those people, places, and things.
Or maybe lack of program. Because like you say, we get information, and I know for me, I can only speak for me, even with the information, even with ample amounts of years clean, just like that, I found myself throwing all that away again, living in the streets, and you're not coming home and back to getting high, and so for me, I did have a choice, the first choice, that's it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you do believe, so you're saying it's a disease, but once you get the information and apply it, and you're not saying if you relapse, it becomes a choice, is it?
No. You choose to go back out there and use, right?
Yeah.
But it's not just the using part. Part of the disease of addiction is the way that you think.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
You
saying?
got this question. My sponsor says all the time. He says, he told me a quote. He said, Darryl, if drugs are your problem, then you're probably not an addict.
Yeah.
Right? It took me a long time to understand that. Once I put the drugs down, then I pick up the clothes. Once I put the clothes down, I pick up the fork. Once I put the fork down, I pick up the spoon. You know what I mean? So I'm always picking up. So it's a mental thing, right?
It's a mental thing, right? Because look at how many people, right, that I'm sure you know, just like myself, right, that don't use no more, right? They haven't picked up the drug, but they still that same slime ball, right? Negative,
defects,
bad energy. The character defects are still there because the work hasn't been done.
The spiritual part.
To spiritual, you know what I'm saying? Like, that work hasn't been done to make those changes. You know what I mean? How many times, like, personally, how many times I heard, like, damn, you ain't using and you still living like that?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, my first detox was 1989.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've been in and out of this thing for 30 plus years. I'm in long-term recovery now. You know what I mean? I've been doing the next right thing every day. But the surrender piece was the key.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a question too, yeah. Let me ask you something. You have, from what I see, you have a love for Mass Ave, or Mass and Cash, you guys call it. What is it about that draws you there? And that'll be the first question. And the back question is, are we doing enough? Meaning, is the city providing enough resources for people down there still struggling, sick and suffering down there?
So, wow.
The first question is your love.
Yeah.
I know you have a love
so,
for. What inspired that? What motivates you to care specifically about that
audience? We here all week interviewing, right?
Well,
right. So, I'm gonna
condense it.
Right, condense it a little bit. But I would have to say, man,
I want to say it's a beautiful thing, right?
No,
it's a beautiful thing. That's why
I'm not taking it as no cap, right? Because like, I know the vibe, right?
Yeah.
And our energy. And here's the thing, right? Those are my people. And in the worst condition possible that this disease presents, right? And everybody looks at us because that's still me over there, right?
It's me too.
In a bad light, like, it's not possible to come up out of that. I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying it's right. And I was down there stuck, right? I didn't graduate from Mass Ave, but I survived it. That's big.
It is big.
Because I have a lot of friends, right, that didn't survive it.
Yeah.
From Dudley Station to Mass Ave, right, where I got to the point in my life where I actually gave up hope. Like, my plan, I'm going to tell you, bro, right? My plan was to die down there. That's the best I could do, what I came up with. I'm walking around in a live coffin, right? The plug is there. The girls are there. My man's in them who's on the same dumb page as me is there. Stop carrying the phone. Like, everything that involved or evolved around active addiction at its finest was right there. So I didn't have to go
You
nowhere.
have to go nowhere, yeah.
So to me, it was like, yeah,
City, yeah.
well,
Right.
let's do it. And I was just waiting to die, bro.
Yeah.
That was, the state of hopelessness that I had been reduced to due to this disease of addiction. Thank you, God, for the spirit in me that He has something else in store. Because when my plan didn't work and it ended, His began for me. You know what I mean?
That's dope. That's dope. And the reason why I say that, you're right. You said something that when they view or they show that area, it's always negative. It's just really crazy. And so you said hopelessness. And that's how, when you look at it, if they continue to show that in that light, that's what it breeds. You know what I mean? That's why it's, for me, it's always trying to show hope and give people that come out, and like you said, you're a positive example.
And that's why I love it so much, right? Not for what's going on, but for the fact that I was led out, right?
And you came back.
And the selfishness of somebody who's not really working this program or doesn't have a proper moral compass, right? They don't care, right? I couldn't bring everybody through the doorway with me, right? We would have been all up in arm locked and stuck, right? But now that I've been guided through that doorway, right, I know how to come back through it and help others that want the help come out of it.
Yeah. That's a further question. Do you think that, well, first of all, is the city providing the right resources? Are they the right resources and enough resources or not?
I mean, I can't say that there is enough or not enough. What I do know is it's a hard task at hand. Because what it boils down to, and this is the key right here, right? What it boils down to is no matter what the city provides, until you're ready, it doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? So whether it's a lot of resources, mediocre resources, or nil resources,
So
right?
it just has to be on
There's
us.
always been resources.
Yeah.
But it's about who wants to take advantage of this. Now, don't get me wrong, there's more resources now. You know what I mean? Available if you want it.
Are they the right resources, though?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
I believe so.
Okay, I mean, you're down there, so I'm trying to let the
Yeah, I
audience see,
believe
you know
so.
what I mean?
Like there's people that speak out against harm reduction, right? Which absolutely makes no sense to me.
Doesn't make sense to me either.
But that's my take on it, right? And I'm not the end-all, be-all who has the final say over anything.
Yeah.
But my take on it is if people are already using, which, by the way, that's already been green-lighted by the city
Yes,
for
it
that
has, yeah,
area, right?
yeah.
Then why not help them reduce the probabilities of secondary illnesses when they do get clean?
Yeah.
Because, see, they figure don't give them clean stuff, don't do harm reduction, because they're just going to die anyway. But what about the me's out there, right?
Yeah.
That didn't die, that chose life again, that started to recover, that come back and help those like himself. Once they get clean and start their process of recovery, because they had those clean harm reduction bags with whatever, maybe they're not dealing with HIV right now.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not dealing with Hep C. Maybe they're not, condoms is harm reduction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe they're not dealing with herpes and STDs and, a whole bunch of secondary diseases and illnesses, right?
Yeah.
That make it that much harder to get their life together,
Yeah,
man.
it definitely does.
You know what I mean?
And it makes you don't want to. Well, I've got this, I might as well go back out there.
Right.
Yeah.
And if the city said, y'all can swim here, but everybody's drowning, and we throw them the life rafts, who's really out of order?
Wow, I like that. That's dope. I like that.
Right.
Yeah, but so they are doing. I talked to Tashawn about it, and he said, yeah, there are the resources down there. So I was out of curiosity, was wondering why. But you said why, and I should have known that anyway. Like you ain't ready until you're ready. It don't matter. You can throw anything,
Bro,
person
listen,
out there. Yeah.
My family never stopped loving me. Were they pissed?
Yeah.
Well, my people, my friends, like my boy D called me the other day. D White called me the other day. Said, D White called me the other day, right? Out the blue, like, yo, Bo, man, I just want to tell you, Bo's one of my old names. I just want to tell you, man, I love you, boy, and I'm proud of you. Because I actually had people pulling up on me, jumping out their cars in traffic. Like, yo, what's wrong with you,
What are
man?
you doing? Yeah.
When I was caught up out there, like people that genuinely love me, right? And know my story, before that, right, was like they couldn't fathom, like, damn, this dude is like, one of the coolest flyers. Like, like, how?
Yeah.
Why? Like, I remember he said, I called your brother, so I told your brother, my brother Bear, right? Like, meet me somewhere so we can go down Dudley and beat his until he go, right? And I said, yeah, y'all would have came and beat me up, man, and I would have just licked my wounds with some more drugs. I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, the support and the love was there. Like, my aunt was coming out 2:30, 3 in the morning in the cold looking for me, right?
Yeah.
Retired school police, right? Getting out her bed, worried about me at 2, 3 in the morning because it was cold and snowing or whatever, and would go looking for me, right? Because she loved her nephew and didn't want me to die out there. See what I'm saying? Like, the love and the support. But guess what? My aunt used to say to me, nephew, are you ready? Straight up, like, no chase, no, being around the bush. Like, are you ready? And I used to be like, Auntie, no. Straight up and down like 6 o'clock. No.
Let me ask you, do you think there's that other people who are suffering out there? Do you think is there a lot of families that go down there?
Yeah.
There is.
That missing on passing cast.
That's off the crane. That's
man. Listen. Likes. Let me tell y'all, right? Likes and loves are cool. You know what I mean, for the social media world and all of that, right? But in real life, them people, man, that care about their families and that page that goes up to help them people locate family members and puts up the detox list and puts up inspirational messages and helps other people out, man, that page is dope. You know what I mean? And absolutely, man, there's people that's always looking for their people. You know what I mean? And it made a difference, right, to me, to be the message. Not the mess, right? Because I was a mess, but to be the message right where I was a mess at.
Yeah.
Right where I was a mess at. Who better than me? You know why? Because I could go all around the world. Like, people ask me to speak, always, love, can you come through here? Love, would you? Right? But the people that know my story, that lived it, right, that saw it, that know.
You're sign of hope, bro. You're sign of hope.
Listen, I went from bags of dope to bags of hope.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know what I mean?
And that's why God did that. That's why I think that was God's plan.
Oh, definitely.
Let me ask you
one of
another
my
question.
hashtags, God's plan.
God's plan. I want to get into that. Let me ask you a question. Your family, your children, did they suffer a long time in your disease? I mean, they've been through it. And I wanted to ask that part, and then I wanted to end up with how's relationships now?
Yep. And you know what? This is what I learned over the years, right? Because although I was caught up and strung out in a complete mess, right? I wasn't the abuse my kids type or steal the money out the piggy bank type or go out the window with their VCRs and CD players, right? Yeah. But I was the not showing up type. The stay away from everybody because I'm ashamed of what I'm doing to myself type. Yeah. Don't want the isolating type, right? The not responsible, the not accountable, right? The, damn, where's my pops at when I need him? Yeah. See what I'm saying?
So, I mean, that had to have an effect. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, not only on them, but on you.
Absolutely it did, right? So, I didn't try to, honestly, because I made so many mistakes, right, that this last time, it wasn't even about me, I'm sorry and in the death.
Trying to fix anything.
No.
Just do it, huh?
Man, listen, the amends was my daughter not getting no more calls to rush to the hospital. You see what I'm saying? The amends was my sons, no matter what they're going through, they could pick up the phone and know I'm an answer.
Yeah.
How about that? Not like, 'cause I told you I stopped carrying the phone, right?
Yeah.
But they know when they call their pops, if they need them, right? Because my sons, they grown men and they hold their own, right? But they know if they call, I'm going to answer.
And you're safe, you know what I mean?
Listen, bro, my best ability today, because I have a whole bunch of abilities, right? But my best ability today is availability for my children, my grandchildren, my family, right? Yeah. But first, myself.
I wanted to ask you that too. So let's talk about, that's good. Let's talk about the commitment. I read on your page, this is, I'm in a committed relationship. I was like, what does he mean? With yourself. What does that mean, bro? I mean, that's self-love piece, but what does it mean to you? And
see, people, right? Like, I know we got a way of talking in the hood, right? Yeah. Like fly is like the way you dress, the way you carry yourself, your characteristics, right? Your swag and all that. But if you look at it on a deeper level, right, and put the acronym together like I did for first loving yourself, that's really fly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you stand up and the accountability and becoming responsible and productive and learning how to really stand up and be a man, that's really fly.
That is fly, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so what I meant by that when I put that post
like,
up, right? Like, I've never been in a committed relationship with myself.
Yeah.
It was always committed to these women, right? Or this woman, right? Or committed to the drugs, or committed to the streets, right? Or committed to pulling off the Great Gatsby with making everybody think it's this when it's that, right? But never just removing myself from all of that, right? And focusing, right? Because my spiritual advisor, because it tells us in the literature as well, right? Get a sponsor and or a spiritual advisor, right? So he's kind of both. And I go between him and my other guy, right? Know why you're doing what you're doing. Just don't do stuff because somebody else is doing it, right? Play the whole tape. Like, he tells me, man, it's all right if that's what you want to do, but know why you're doing it. And focus, because focus is your best friend, and distraction is your enemy. Think about all the times you get distracted, what you accomplish. You was distracted. You was distracted by drugs. You was distracted by the streets. You was distracted by women. Listen, it was, and it is a beautiful thing, right? Not to be in a relationship today. For me.
For you, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Listen, you can't be a full-grown man, right, in a committed relationship if you don't even know how to take care and commit to yourself.
That's true.
Because you become a codependent.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it turns into what she can do for me.
Because you can't give nobody something that you don't got. If you don't got you can't even get it.
Right. And then it turns into what she can do for me instead of what can I do for myself.
Do for myself, yeah.
I stayed out of relationships so I could build and see what can I do for myself. What am I capable of?
Wow.
Right? What doors are going to open up without me riding on a woman's back? Without her calling saying, bring my car back. Or get out of my house.
Get out.
Or why you friends with her? Or, you know, and these are the things that, now, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking relationships. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying how.
But you're right.
I needed to know me.
Yeah.
Like for so long, I was in the streets killing myself. Yeah. Right? I didn't even know what my favorite cereal ice cream was.
Wow.
If somebody was to ask me, I don't know. Man, when's the last
Anything.
time? When's the last time you just want to have some ice cream by yourself, man? Damn.
Yeah, that's dope. It is.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we're so afraid to get to know ourselves that we use fillers and blockers and outside distractions to keep us from going inside.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared this time to go inside, man. I'm okay with being alone and by myself because I'm really not alone.
You're really not by yourself. When you
man,
when you're whole and you complete, you're not by yourself.
My network is off the chain.
Yeah.
Listen, the dudes, right? Because I know I'm a sharp dude, right? And it's not with arrogance or conceit, right? But I know I'm a sharp dude because that's how I was designed and created, right? But I want to be the dumbest dude in the room so I can learn.
Yeah, yeah.
If I'm the sharpest dude in the room, what do I have
to aspire to?
Who's going to
teach you, right? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so many times I always thought that I was or tried to be, and I was presenting myself from growing. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? All the dudes that I deal with, like I talked about Toot and Chris and all the brothers that's putting up organizations building and giving back like you're doing, right? These are the type of dudes and the energy that I need because guess what? Like I'm the hope for a lot of people. What y'all have laid the groundwork is the hope for me to continue on my journey and my path. Yeah. My network is off the
I know.
chain.
You're going to have to tap into that. Let me ask you something, okay? So now you're clean, you know, you're living a new life. Like I said, you seem very grateful. And you're an inspiration, you know what I mean, your messages and quotes like that. Tell me a little bit about Roxbury Rocks.
Step Rocks.
I
No, it's okay.
apologize. Step Rocks. And I should know that because that's a sister program to the Recovery Connection out here, where it's right around the corner.
Okay.
So that's our sister program. What is it? What has it done for you? How did it help you? Do you think it's valuable in the community?
Absolutely, it
Can you
is.
explain some of that? And
So what had happened was, I know North Suffolk Mental Health oversees a lot of different community outreach centers.
Yeah.
So Step Rocks happens to be the one in my community where, I grew up running around, creating havoc,
It's
madness.
a Spectrum hosts it, right?
No, it's through North Suffolk Mental Health.
Oh, so they changed it.
Yeah.
When I first went there, they told me I went there from Recovery Connection because we were told that it was a Spectrum.
Oh, okay.
That Spectrum hosts it.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be the top.
Right. It might have been people maybe from there, but as far as I know, it's through North
Okay,
Suffolk.
it doesn't
Mental
matter. I mean,
Health.
I just wanted to
Right.
know.
Yeah. So,
Wow, that's-
and it's one of the North Suffolk Mental Health's community outreach centers.
Okay, so they must have took it over then. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what is it like? What is the place like?
I
What do
mean,
you guys
it's
do
a
there?
beautiful place that opened up now on Blue Hill Ave. It's actually at where Breezeways used
When
to
I
be.
went there, it was at W
It used
Station
to be
Living
right in
down the street.
Roxbury.
Yeah.
And honestly, I missed the old spot that it was at. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because it was in the center.
was right
of
there,
the
bro.
madness,
It's
right
right
there.
there.
You know what I mean? But the new spot is actually a beautiful place. And how I ended up there, because I was already familiar with the old spot, but I connected with some of the director and, Miss Loretta and Lorraine and KJ, Caitlin up there, and they all, we would just, collab on different things, do the community development of the Nubian Task Force meeting, which I talk about that after. But Chris, my man Chris Conway, out for good behavior, he reached out to
I
me.
just seen something from that.
Yeah, he reached out to me, Math, Garrick Dames. He's another one.
Garrick, yeah.
G's doing his thing, trying to put it together and bring it up. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. I believe his is Lives Are Meant to Be Changed.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And he reached out to us, and Miss Paulette, she's like the mother of all of this, one of them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because at one point or another, all of us have been in treatment under her.
Wow.
She's got a PhD and a master's. She's like the bomb.
That lady,
But
yeah.
anyway, Chris had reached out to all of us to facilitate groups called From Mass and Cast to a Hopeful Path.
seen that. I got
so
that,
that's
yeah.
how we ended up at. So I kind of put him with Miss Loretta, and they figured
Networking
it out.
and building it, yeah.
Networking and building. So he secured a place for us to be able to facilitate that meeting from. You know what I mean?
And it was that Step Rocks?
And it was at Step
Got
Rocks.
you. Got you.
And what it entailed was, more me's. You know what I mean? I'm one of one, but when it comes to the pain and the suffering and the misery that the disease provided for me, there's people that survived Mass Ave just like I did.
Yeah.
So to have us there as a collective talking about the greatness, right, of the possibilities of recovery, that's the message of hope. That's somebody, even if it's one body at a time,
Yeah.
that needed to hear.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Because if you're walking around in a live coffin and everybody's waiting to die, then all you care about is waiting to die.
Waiting to die.
Like, bro, when people see me, right, sometimes they just start crying.
Like see a ghost.
Yeah, like they really do see a ghost,
you
right?
dead.
And that's what they say. Like,
Yeah.
I thought you was dead. Last time I seen you, you was about to be dead. You know what I mean? And look at you now. And I appreciate and take so much pride, right? And just staying humble and staying in my lane and putting it where it belongs. I have no problem with God gets the glory
Yeah.
in my story, right? But without no test, there's no testimony, right? But I don't take away from the work that I do.
Most definitely.
Because I can ask God all day.
But you have to do the work. You have
I
to
can
let.
pray
yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
But, no matter how much you pray, no matter how much you read this book or that book, right, and do all of that stuff,
Faith without works is dead, right?
try not going to work
Yeah.
and see if them bills get paid.
You're 100% right.
You know what
We
I'm
have
saying?
to do the work. You're right. But God gets the. Yeah.
And because the doors have opened, because I've been able to make some better decisions for myself, right? I stay focused on doing my part in my relationship with me and my higher power.
Okay.
Because I've been in a relationship with my higher power since I was born, right? But I was the bum in the relationship, right? Because he always had to hold me down, take care of me, blah, 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 keep me alive through the overdoses, the hospitals, the prison beds, right?
Yeah.
I was just going against it. Always the conflict, right?
Yeah.
But now that I've been working with him, man, the relationship is dope.
Yeah.
It's bomb now because I'm not being a bum. I'm carrying my weight. I'm holding my own. I'm putting in the work. And it's coming into fruition that I'm having the things that I deserve. The blessings don't stop.
Most definitely.
Blessings don't stop, man. You know what I mean? Like, they always say God don't give you more than you can handle. I get a whole bunch to handle. But God makes sure, right, that I'm handling everything that I'm given.
Got you.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of times when you hear these terms,
Yeah.
you have to think they
Yeah.
think a lot of them. Yeah.
Right. And I put the work in, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So okay, so Step Rocks. I'm sorry, Step Rocks. Shout out to you guys. Yeah. What is your message? If we were to write your message, what would your message be? I mean, is that obviously it's hope. Do you think what you have is for anybody? Anybody can have it.
I think what I have is for everybody who wants it.
Got you.
The message is hope. The promise is freedom. But coming from a personal perspective and point of view, I would tell anybody, man, right? First and foremost, I don't care what you're going through, what phase you are in your life, right? And this doesn't even necessarily go for everybody who's using, because I know plenty of people who got a hard way to go without the substance, right? Start by remembering who you are. Love yourself. First, love yourself. That's fly. Give yourself a break. Give yourself a chance. Ask for some help and accept the help, because help is two parts. You can always be like, oh, I want some help this, I want some help that. But when you get it, accept it. That means don't get to a program and try to run the program, right?
Yeah.
We get to programs and want to change the program. I
it.
figured it out my last run, right? That I got to the program. I figured it out. I didn't get to the program to change the program. I came here to change me.
Change you, yeah.
Stick to the damn plan.
Right. Okay. Tell me about your gratitude, bro, and why that's probably the foundation. From what I see, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And how do you exercise that on a daily basis? To get through.
Like, all right, I don't clown, cap, or like downgrade anybody else's gratitude, right? But I just know for me, the way that I learn, right? Gratitude, because they told me that a grateful addict won't use, right?
Yeah.
So,
Could you explain gratitude first before you do that? Because I didn't know what it meant for a long time. I just heard the word and
Yeah.
I acted it, but I never received
grateful for where you're at. And to me, what my higher power has done for me that I couldn't do for myself. Couldn't, like, I do the work, but there's some things I couldn't do for myself. You know what I mean? Being happy, like accepting where I'm at in life and working towards having better and not worried about what somebody else got and preventing myself from growing, right? I'm grateful just because I get to open up my eyes in the morning and I got another shot at life and I can make some choices. Like my man Math always says, I go to sleep in recovery, but I still wake up an addict,
Wow.
right?
That's dope. Yeah. It's the truth.
So now what do I do? Because when I
It's
wake
new.
up, it's new. When I woke up this
Yeah,
morning,
wow, that's
right,
dope,
I
yeah.
still had the disease of addiction. So now, do I remember, right, how grateful I should be and I am because of all these days and months and weeks and years and time that I've accumulated without the use of a drug, right, that have put my life in a better place? Because we can get ungrateful and content real quick, right? And just like that, everything I got will go in the cooker.
Yeah.
Just like that, everything I have.
I understand.
And I don't even talk about my clothes, my material stuff, right? I'm talking about the relationship with my children,
peace.
right?
Yeah.
The relationships with my children, the way my granddaughters see me. Like, my granddaughters are all over the world, right? And one night, I can't even make this up. Back to back, each one of them called me just because they wanted to talk to me, and none of them had talked to each other.
Wow. That's
So you
dope.
know how dope that is?
Yeah, it is dope. Yeah.
Like my 4 granddaughters, I got 7 grandkids, right? 4 granddaughters and 3 grandsons, right? The boys are babies, except for my oldest grandson. But my 4 granddaughters, all in different places, all like to their mothers, or my two oldest, because they 10. They little teenagers.
Do their own
They little
thing,
smart.
right?
So they be like, I'm calling my G-Pa, right? But they all called me back to back to back. And it was almost like,
Wow.
it was crazy because nobody's call interrupt the other's call. As soon as I'd be like, okay, G-Dot, I love you. I'll talk to you later. Okay, G-Pa, bye. I click. Brrr. Hi, G-Pa, what you up to? And I'm like, wow.
Those are the blessings.
Those are priceless.
Yeah, it is our priceless.
Priceless, man. You know what I mean? And it's the stuff like that that I'm grateful for. It ain't ungrateful for what I don't have. It's grateful for what I do have.
How about the peace? The peace. You know, man, I know in my life, it's been a long time without peace. You know, whatever happens, I was always in my head. It was uncomfortable. Yeah, war.
The comfortness, right, and the stability of having a peace of mind, right,
Dope,
and
right?
being in a place where I can really believe in myself enough to know that I don't have to negotiate my freedom. I don't have to be in toxic situations or toxic relationships, right, or around toxic people, right. I don't have to settle for less, right, because I think less of myself, where that creates the chaos and the madness that doesn't allow me to have peace.
Yeah,
See what I'm saying?
I
Like,
think that's priceless.
bro, I'm not,
Peace is
like,
priceless.
I refuse to negotiate my freedom today.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm from the hood. I got people that still on that side of the fence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, I'm worth my weight in gold right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could get anything I wanted.
Yeah.
But do I want what goes with that?
Yeah.
Anything that
You know what it does.
Yeah. Do I want the Walpole
You got the
bid?
other side,
Do I
yeah.
want the overdoses? Do I want them getting shot? Do I want them getting stabbed? Do I want getting beat up? Do I want disappointing my kids? Do I want losing my jobs?
pain.
Do I want, sleeping on the sidewalk again? Right? Because,
Yeah.
check this out. Excuse me. I ended up sleeping in abandoned trucks, bro.
I get it.
Right? Like, homeless with a home.
Yeah.
Not caring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always in the hospital with overdoses, right? Always in jail talking about, could you come get me? Or could you put in on this, right? Like, I remember when my mom and my grandmother, God rest both their souls, and my family would come together, right? What's his bail, 25? Oh, yeah, let's go get him, right? And, I'd be walking around like,
Knowing you going home.
Yeah, I'm going home. My people's coming to snatch me, right? To my bail being like $1.50. And having my fingers crossed, my toes crossed, right? Praying to Jehovah, Allah, Jesus, right? But at the same time, like, let somebody just come with this $150.
$150.
$150, right?
And you have to tell everybody in the joint that you're on $1 million bill, right?
Oh my God, ransom,
Yeah,
a ransom. Man, I can't believe they got me on another ransom. I'm on the phone like, it's
crazy.
It's 150. Yeah, 150,000. Look.
It is crazy.
Yeah, and bro, I don't have to live like that no more. So with that being said, right?
Yeah.
At the end, it was definitely ugly for me, without question. So when I got to jail, right, they immediately rushed me to the hospital because they was like, yeah, he's not dying here.
Yeah, we know we're supposed to.
Right?
Yeah.
He's not dying, not on our watch.
That's how we go in there.
You know what I mean? Not here, bro. No, get him to Mass General. Get him out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
The end, right? And I had a choice. I had a choice from there on, right? When I got that moment of clarity, now the ball was in my court again, right? I could manipulate the situation, right? To run back to Dudley Station, to run back to the projects, to run back to Mass Ave, right? Or I could set my silly ass down, excuse my language, right? And accept some help.
Was it hard?
Yes.
It is hard.
And no. Like, of course it is, man. I just was out there for years, right? In the forest this way, right? So am I going to be able to go somewhere for a week and spin dry, or 30 or 90 or 6 months, right? Like, you haven't come back this direction far enough to be okay. I might not ever be completely okay, but every day I'm still getting better. And that's all I could wish for, hope for, and work towards, right? There's no such thing as perfection.
Not here.
But I'll take the progress.
Yeah.
I'm not as far into the woods as I was, you know what I mean? and I haven't used, so I got a chance. So treatment, I'm an advocate for treatment. I'm big for treatment.
Yeah. Long
Sit
term,
down,
right?
long
You
term.
really have to sit down.
Sit down somewhere, man, and accept the help, man. It works. It works. I'm a product of treatment, among some other things, right?
Yeah.
It works. I couldn't have did this without treatment being part of it and accepting the help.
And we don't take, I think that was a problem with me in the beginning. I'll take 90 days here or 30 days here or 27 days Bridgewater, and that was good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'd be back out.
Yeah.
It wasn't until, I was in treatment for
Listen, the
a
spin
long
drive,
time,
the
yeah.
spin drive, man, is
2 years. 2 years.
temporary fix for a permanent type situation, man. You cannot put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound.
No, you can't. Not at all.
Stop trying to Band-Aid them damn bullet wounds, man.
Yeah. It's the truth.
Go into treatment, because that's the surgery.
If not, you're going to either die or sit a long time anyway,
Man,
so
listen.
might as well figure it out, yeah.
It's
Somewhere
best,
decent.
one of the best decisions I ever could have made, right? Because there were times when I was caught up, when I was caught up, right? That I wish I could have just turned off the disease and walked away. There was plenty of nights that I wanted to get in that car with my aunt, but I couldn't. You see what I'm saying? There was plenty of times that I wanted to show up for my kids, right? But I couldn't, bro.
I get it, yeah.
So that moment of clarity at that time was everything. You know what I mean? And I remember when I was leaving one unit to go to another one, I think I was leaving Nash to go to the Bay so I could get some help getting sent somewhere else, right, to an outside treatment facility. And I remember Toot said to me, act like it's 86, man, and get Lebo. Because he remembers, as a kid, so he was like, bro, this ain't you.
This ain't you, yeah.
You know what I mean? And we had talks days and days and days where he was just, because he actually started balling up, right? And it was because I was like an older head from the hood, right? That was like that deal once upon a time, right?
Yeah.
And he saw me and didn't even know who I was.
Wow.
And when he realized it was me, he said, come on, Bo, man.
Yeah.
Nah, man. For real. You know what I mean? And
he's authentic, so you know that
man,
really hurt.
listen,
Yeah.
that was real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I learned a lot from Toot, right? Just listening to him, like giving me some fruit from all the books he used to read, because he was gone for a stretch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But one of the things that I learned, right, is we all got a power. We all have powers, right? Mm-hmm. I've always been good at anything I try to do, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But one of the best things that I could ever done, right, was use my powers for good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That gravitational pull, that charm, that charisma.
Yeah, all that stuff.
All that stuff. Everybody be like, oh, love this and love that, right? Don't use it to manipulate situations for my selfishness, but use it for my selflessness to help others, because that in turn is going to help me and put me higher to a place where I need to be and working towards things. Like, it's good. Like, I really believe what I do for myself is good, right? Mm-hmm. But my heart for helping others is what makes me great.
It's beautiful, man, when you see
saying?
somebody, right, get their kids back, you see somebody.
Listen, I'm in the trenches. I'm in the trenches.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, so before I talk about the trenches, right? Like, because I don't want to leave out my network, because I believe this is important for a lot of us.
Shout them out. Anybody want to shout out to,
a lot
give
of
it to
us
them.
men, right, to hear this part, right? You're not a punk for being vulnerable. Your emotional awareness and your emotional IQ will help you level up in life, right? Because I have a network, like I said, that's like super dope. But man, the women in my network are the bomb. Because this is what I never had before, right? Just solid relationships, non-sexual with women, right? That got my back. Everything that's been going on in my life, right? Getting better, this coming through, this coming this way, right? Has mostly 90% of the time come through one of my women friends.
Wow.
Right?
Because you got a right relationship with them, though.
I got the right relationship with them. And women always want to see you win.
Yeah.
When you have women for friends, they always.
They're easy to see what's in you, too. They can see.
They
see in you.
know.
That's what they're about. God made them like
Listen,
that.
they
for us to be
always
like that.
want to see
Yeah.
you win. Like,
That's
these are
dope.
non-sexual relationships, right? But strong bonds that I'll get a call, right?
Wow.
Like, love, this job's available over here. You want to take it? Like, that's how my process started off in the employment field this time. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? With one of my female friends reaching out, putting me onto this, and then me showing up, right? And doing the work and being who God created me to be, right? And put myself in position for something else to open up, right? And then another female friend, babe, check this out. I think this will be good for you, right? Building me, right? Because I was vulnerable enough to be like, listen, I can't do this by myself, and I don't know. See,
Wow.
when you walk around thinking you could do everything by yourself, and you walk around like you know, guess what?
You ain't gonna get no information.
You ain't gonna get
get
no
nothing.
information.
No help. You
You
good.
no help. You good.
Faking like you good, right?
You good.
Yeah.
I stopped acting like I was good, and guess what?
Told the truth, yeah.
I got good.
Yeah.
Women will help you get good. My women friends help me get good, bro. Like, in all capacities of elevating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My supervisor right now, she walked up to me somewhere where I was speaking at and said, I'm the supervisor here. This is what I do, and I want you in this position.
Wow.
See what I'm saying? When women see a man that's trying to do the right thing and wants to do the right thing, and I'm not talking about your baby mama that's mad at you.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about this woman that you did this to.
Yeah.
By the way, I got the two dopest baby mothers ever. I got great relationships with them both, and they're a bazillion supportive of this. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
good.
But those type of friendships and relationships, right? That people just want to see you elevate and grow and be all right, or they see the potential.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not like I haven't heard this before, but I was limiting myself.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I was putting the boundaries on myself, like,
Yeah.
I only need to be a drug dealer, or I only want to be a gunslinger, or I'm all right with being a dope fiend, crackhead, and dying on Mass Ave. You know what I'm saying? And excuse the words and phrases, but I'm talking about me. I've been very well versed in stigmatism training as well. But I'm talking about how I labeled and looked at myself, worthless, hopeless, and waiting to die. But just my network, man, and my women friends, man, that really want to see me win and help me with that is phenomenal.
Good.
Because I wouldn't be where I'm at, man, without the women and the men in my life. And that's why I said the vulnerability is key. They have no problem with hitting me on the well. Like, yo.
He hold you accountable?
Listen, man. and they know, you know what I'm saying? Because you see what you see, but people from the outside looking in, they see the whole picture too. You know what I mean? And I didn't put up resistance to information, advice, suggestions. You see what I'm saying? Stop thinking I know everything so I can learn some things.
Most definitely.
You know what I mean?
And that's the truth. That's how it is. Let me ask you a question. All right, so is there anything else, any other, you want to give anybody shout outs? Is there anything that you want to say, make sure that you say? And if not, then I'd like to give you time to, you can do whatever, but I'd like to give you time to speak to that person that might be struggling. Speak to those people that might be holding stigmas. Or just say whatever you want to say. This is your time, your message.
Well, you know, I definitely, man, would definitely say, man, shout out to myself, man. You know, for showing up for me today, right?
I appreciate you showing up too, bro. I really do.
And shout out to you
big.
for doing this,
This
man.
is big.
And like all my brothers, you know, with their organizations that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, right? Like, to be honest, I know if I start naming all of y'all,
Somebody gonna
I'm
get mad.
gonna forget somebody, right? So I'm telling you, all my people, right, who took the time to watch this when it drops, you know, when it comes out, and y'all say, you know, my man Love, yeah, he gives it up. I'm gonna watch that. So you're watching this right now. You my people. And even if you don't know me, you watching this right now. You my people. And I love all of y'all. I appreciate all of y'all for every little part or way that you might have played a role in my life, or you're gonna play in my life in the future. You know, but it hits different when I come to them grandbabies and children. I'm just grateful, man, that I'm available. You know what I mean? And me and my G-Dots is doing the movies this weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, chilling. That's what you
Chilling.
do.
That's the gifts right there.
That is the gift.
Like they call me, like send me a text, like, can we hit the movie? Yep, we sure. How them grades looking? Got A's? Like, let's do it.
Let's do it, yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you watching this, man, shout out to you. Whether you struggling, whether you doing big and great things, you know, shout out to you. And thank you, man. You know what I mean? Because I don't get the chance to talk to everybody all the time, you know, but I'm really always a humble dude and very appreciative of everybody. But any part you played in my life, man, to help me get to where I'm at and continue to level up and do better and go further, thank you. You know? And this one right here, Ma Dukes, she definitely gets the personal shout out. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I know she up in heaven in God's ear. Like, that's my baby right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Big stuff.
So,
Go ahead. You good?
here's the thing.
Okay.
Them same hospitals, right, that I couldn't stay out of because I kept overdosing. I was infections, getting shot up, getting stabbed, getting beat up, going through windshields, being in comas. The same hospitals I work in today, right? Them same prisons, right? That I was always trying to, you know, get that bail money, or you gonna eat that cornbread, or can I get a soup, right? You know, because I always wasn't Willie Williams' son, baller, the third, when I was in prison. A whole bunch of my bids and runs and stays. You know, I was jammed up. But I'm saying all that to say, I work in them same places right now. So I walk in the front door and out the front door of them same jails, right?
It's good stuff, man. Yeah.
The same hallways. Check it out. The same hallways, right, bro, that I used to sleep in down Dudley, right? I ended up becoming a resident service coordinator for the properties, right? With all the master keys to those buildings. Where before I got my stuff together, I used to go up in them buildings with a T-pass. That was the key to those buildings,
Yeah.
right? Where I got high, where I did this, I did that, right? And all of these things, including couldn't stay out the streets, you know, right? Outreach with doctors and PAs and other recovery coaches and case managers, where I'm out in the streets helping people just like me, right? Doing outreach, right? So all of those things have come full circle, right? To I was a mess, now I'm a message.
The message.
You know what I'm saying? In them same exact
That's
places.
what God does. If you really think about it, who better?
Nobody. Yeah, nobody better, man.
There's nobody better.
And this I know because I really believe this is what he lined me up to do, because this wasn't my plan. This was me removing some obstacles of the active addiction and the negativity of the characteristics and making some defect changes, right? And putting myself in position, and then the plan coming to me. I didn't say I'm going to be a recovery coach at Mass General, right? Did I see that job description? Of course. I wasn't
He's
even
gonna die. So
yeah,
you have no.
yeah, I didn't, you know, I didn't say, you know,
get it.
one day. Check this out. Did I ever say one day I'm gonna be walking in and out the front door of a jail with an ID that I move like I want to move in the building,
God, that's beautiful. Yeah.
right? Come on, man.
No, that's beautiful. I
Right?
know.
The same hospitals, right, where they were like, clear, and give us some more, you know. Now, like, doctors are asking me, so Lovelee, let me ask you a question. What?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with, like, my opinion and my information, like, really matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the streets, like, with my girl, Dr. Becky Lee, because she's the bomb. And I mention her by name because to see a little white woman who's a doctor, right, that comes to that area, which they don't do, right? Down Dudley, sit on her behind in the dirt and clean people's infections and clean people's wounds and help them with their like the passion and sincerity that I see by the way she treats people, right? That's different.
Little Mother Teresa, huh?
Yeah, she's different. She's just different with it, right? And like, and she's just the bomb. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's like what the level up's about, man. Like, I could pick up my phone and call doctors at home, right? Or my children are gonna be like, "That's my dad. Hold on."
Yeah.
or out the blue, or every day, you know, baby mamas would just be like, yo, you all right? You good? You know, just checking. You know what I mean?
Do you think, let me ask you, do you think they're waiting for it to happen again?
They're not waiting
Not
for it to
anymore?
happen again, but they're still praying,
Yeah.
hard body, that
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Got you.
Absolutely.
Got you.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean, sometimes, yeah, I
Yeah,
get
listen,
that part.
absolutely they are. You know what I mean? Because you know why? They know like I know. If it ever happens again, God forbid, I'm not going to make it back.
Yeah.
So they don't want me to die. They know I have to die, but not like that.
Not like that.
Not like that. So yeah, absolutely. You know, I'd be like out of my mind to think that my people still don't worry. They love me. Of
Yeah.
course they worry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
And I
saying?
think what happens is, those.
It's a little bit less now, maybe.
Yeah, it is. I think those things are traumatic experience for them, and just because we get clean, it still takes their time to heal.
Man,
you know what I mean? That's
there's some
for
healing
people that
still
love you.
going on.
My
There was-
daughter still, I know she's
there's
still
trauma
like,
there.
yeah,
There's trauma there, and there's some healing still going on, man. It's not gonna happen overnight, you know. It was a while before, like, the relationship got to where it's at right now with my children. Like, we still wasn't talking all the time. They still wasn't like, he good. You know, it's like, we'll see.
yeah, they scared to
Yeah, we
scared
done
to
heard
embrace
this
again.
before.
Yeah.
We done heard this before, but see, like, it's not what we say with the words. Like, I could tell by the actions. You know what I'm saying? Just like they could tell by minds.
Yeah.
Like, even when I was in Walpole and up the way with you or whatever,
Yeah.
like, I always made a way to send my daughter books, right? So even when I came home, that's like me and my daughter's thing, right? Books, books, books.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The jewels, the education, you know, like that always been our thing. Here's a thesaurus, right? Here's a dictionary, right? So even when she was down south at school, Atlanta, you know, books, right? That's our thing. So me being caught up and missing, everybody knows my daughter is, you know, that's my baby. You know, my sons, those is my guys, but they're boys. It's different. You know what I mean? But everybody knows, right? The way I feel about my daughter, but her being down south, me sending the books, and then me being missing,
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
Missing. Because she feels the same way about her dad, right? So now me not being available, right?
Yeah.
Even because no matter what happened, like I could be missing for like years, right? Year here, months here. Like they would know.
He said, yeah, like,
Yeah, like they would know that I'm still alive somewhere trying to die, but they wouldn't really know for sure until they get like my daughter. Like I'd wake up out of sedation in the hospital, and my daughter would be standing over and be like, "Come on, Dad, you got to do better." You know what I'm saying? Like, "Come on, Dad, you better than this. Come on,
not
Dad,
like
you got to
this,
get it
yeah.
together." You know what I mean? So I brought that up to say, right? Of course, they were still like shaky or maybe, you know what I'm saying? They love their father, of course.
No, I'm just
but it's
saying,
still
are they is it better at that part now?
So here, this is
Yeah.
what I'm about to get to, right? So I got a text from my daughter, and it was a picture, but I didn't know what it was. So I was about to call her and be like, you know, daughter, what's this? Because that's what I call my daughter, daughter. Right? Like, hey, daughter, I love you, daughter. Right? So I'm like, I was about to hit her and say, daughter, what's this? But before I could do that, the next text came and said, Daddy, I want this book. I started crying, right? Because I knew that she knew her dad was back.
Dope.
Because she knew she could depend on me to get
Send
that
that
book.
book, yeah.
My daughter make way more money than me. She's smart as hell.
But I don't think it's about that.
She don't need me to buy her no book.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She could buy her own book. But whenever her little book club, they read on, she be like, Dad, this one's up next for the book club.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Dope, yeah.
And she knows she's getting that book. But what it really entails is she knows her dad is there.
It's back. Yeah, you say, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I know by the actions. You know what I'm saying? And the reciprocity of the relationship. You know what I mean? Just the back and forth. Like, hey, man, listen, this thing here is priceless for real.
Yeah, no, I get it.
You know what I mean? But just like, you know, with my boys, man, you know what I mean? They're tough. They're hard-headed. You know? They got this.
Yeah, but they gonna, yeah.
But when they
go
don't
through their
got
process.
this, they don't hesitate to be like, Pop, what up? I ain't got this.
Yeah.
And I'm on the other end to answer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
So
big.
just like those phone calls that I know that they know they can make now, shows me that they believe.
Got you.
And know that their dad's in a better place, man. You know what I mean?
Got you.
I'm dependable.
Got you.
You can
Good
count
stuff,
on me.
man. It's, all right, so yeah, bro. I want to say thank you. If you have anything else you want to say, I don't like. This is your message. I don't want to
See,
leave nothing
of course
else.
I'm gonna leave, right, and be in the car driving back to the city.
Well, here's what
like,
we do.
Oh, I should have said this and I
well-
should have said that.
Well,
But,
the door's open, so I mean,
okay,
if you want to
but
come
what
back,
what I said that mattered the most, you know what I'm saying, besides the love for my children and the love that I'm learning to continue to have for myself, is that an addict, any addict, can stop using, put
That's the
down the
message.
drugs, right?
yeah,
Find a new way to live. Never again does an addict have to die from active addiction. And as hard as it may be, man, if you take that first step towards some help, it'll get easier. It's not gonna be a cakewalk. I'm not selling y'all no dreams. But I'm telling you, if I can go from sleeping in abandoned cars and buildings and all the things that I just talked about before that, right, to, you know, do consulting work. Like, you know, I put the work in, but it's possible. Like, I've never had a license in my life, right? Never had my whole
I always
life.
drove without him.
I didn't need a license to drive. I only needed a license if I got pulled over.
Just need a car, right? You like me?
But I'm saying that now, like, last year, I got a license.
Good
For the
stuff.
first time. So like December I had my license for the first
Post
time.
up and don't have to worry.
Like, and then, you know, grab me a little hoopty. I call it a hoopty because I got it. You know what I'm saying? But grab me a little whip, right? In my name, you know what I'm saying?
Wow, yeah.
Pay my bills. Like, I didn't let the game call me back and I gave in. Because the game's designed to do one thing, right? Kill you.
Yeah.
You can be alive and the game can still kill you.
You dead. You dead. As soon as you touch with
Yeah,
it, you dead.
that 50 in a day, sitting in a box somewhere is death.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's designed for us to lose, man. And as soon as I accepted that, right, I said, well, let me do something else. You know, so I haven't sold no drugs, I haven't picked up no guns, I haven't manipulated no people, I ain't stole nothing, robbed nothing, right? I really been Joe Schmo citizen, right? Man, I'm doing better getting sidewalk money, right, than I've gotten the street money for years.
Yeah.
And I ain't got to ask nobody for nothing.
And it's less stressful.
Man, I ain't going to jail. I ain't looking over that. Ain't nobody coming to lay me down.
No.
Like, it's a beautiful
You're holding
thing,
your
man.
own thing. And I'm glad, and I'm proud of you for that. These are yours. These questions that I did and didn't ask. So can we just talk?
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like I said, you're welcome to come anytime. Give me a call if you want to come back. Christian Mathematics, you know, there's a seat for you. Step Rocks, thank you for helping this man and having this man give some input there. But
MGH, BMC, Barbara McGinnis, you know what I'm saying? All the organizations, man, especially National Street Jail.
Yeah.
Because, see, I couldn't stop. But once I hit that jail, I stopped. And then I stick to the plan so I can stay stopped. Sometimes jail ain't the worst thing. I'm not saying, endorsing it for nobody too. But if that's where you get your shot at, take advantage of it. Like, I'm a recovery coach there now. So I go in and help people get a plan together, their plan, my support and help and backup and resourcing. You know what I'm saying? To come back out to the freedom and stay free.
stay free.
You know what I mean?
That's what it is. Thank you guys. Like I said, you're welcome anytime.
Hey,
I
appreciate you
coming.
having
Good
me,
show,
bro.
man. And thank you guys for watching. Like I said, continue to support the show, share, and subscribe to this channel. And like I always say, I want to say I love you to Taisha, Little Darryl, and Zayla. Peace.